In theory, citizen partnership is basic democracy that used to guide to social change and share social benefits through participation in policy decisions, allocation of social resources, and operation of public projects. The author of the first paper divides citizen partnership into 8 rungs: manipulation, therapy, informing, consultation, placation, partnership, delegated power, and citizen control. The lowest rung is manipulation. In the name of citizen partnership, the authorities twist people into tools to regulate public relations. Secondly, therapy. The authorities packaged it as a program of civic engagement, but the aim was to cure citizens of unhealthy minds. Thirdly, informing is often a one-way notification from the government to citizens, leaving people with few channels for feedback and losing the power that makes policies and programs work for them. In the fourth rung, the government will let the masses have their say and provide them with more information. In the fifth, of placation, citizens began to formally have a degree of influence. The authorities will give citizens more opportunities and plans to make suggestions. In the sixth rung, citizens can negotiate with authorities the redistribution of power resources. Citizens can finally be truly involved in planning policies and have an impact on their results. Delegated power, citizens gives citizens the leading decision-making power of leading planning and policy schemes. In the eighth rung, the last one, citizens' demand for power control increases again. Citizens can be fully responsible for policy formulation and administration. While this is an oversimplified model, citizen participation is an opportunity to allow citizens to participate in the formulation of national policies and achieve more benefits for them. The model represents the corresponding extent of citizen power. In the second reading, it is framed around Lefebvre's concept of the right to the city, which includes both the right to participate in decision-making and to self-manage urban spaces, as well as the right to appropriate the space. More literature emerges using this analyzing framework to reveal the underlying tensions of urban renewal projects that involves the dilution of public housing tenants to create mixed communities. Arthurson uses this case study of Carlton Housing Estate redevelopment project in Melbourne to explore this. While urban renewal projects have the potential to create vibrant communities through the role of modeling good citizenship, the premise of underlying assumptions creates tensions and equity concerns inherent to current renewal projects. The article concludes the Carlton Housing Estate redevelopment project, which aimed to improve social integration between public and private residents, created further segregation through separate buildings, separate garden centre, and separate parking spaces. Importantly, public housing tenants' opportunity for participation in decision making was not supported. As a student participating in the Central Geelong Framework Plan with DELP, ensuring the involvement of different stakeholders, especially community participation, is imperative to holistic outcomes. Currently, as the framework is about to go out for public consultation, discussion about individuals' right to be heard at the public hearing process and their right to remain anonymous while having their say has been frequent. Through these discussions, it has become apparent individuals not only have the right to be involved, but also have the right to determine how much involvement they wish to make. Taking this into consideration, citizens have the option to be heard later during public hearing, however, it is not enforced on them. Nicolas has had similar experiences where he has experienced the power struggle between the prioritization of private property interests and community decision-making within the customer service aspect of his statutory position at the City of Monash Council. An example of this recurring issue is the frequent applications received for university accommodation in Clayton, requesting the construction of 8 to 10 dwellings on a single lot within the residential growth zones. Considering the endorsed plans compiled with all mandatory statutory requirements, they encountered many objections both in person and over the phone from occupiers living within adjoining properties. A common objection being that student accommodations were visually intrusive in terms of preferred neighbourhood character, likely due to the lack of requirements for garden area under the schedule for residential growth. which did not meet the preferred garden state character that most residents were in favor for. This empirically supports Harvey's idea of the right to the city as a diminishing concept and empirically demonstrates how private property interests and planning controls within the statutory framework mitigates a citizen's ability to change and shape the city in accord with their personal desires. Hence, as stated in the reading, this suggests the need for further research to investigate various contexts, in this case, public housing redevelopment and strategic policy development. In conclusion, there is a need to revamp the planning scheme through the analytical lens of the right to the city, which leads us to our reflective question. Is it possible to achieve a planning scheme that equally prioritizes a citizen's right to the city and current neoliberal and private interests?